ashfall 30 miles away in a town of Cougar is already at a half an inch. All scientific personnel and persons in the area that were monitoring were dropping, everything, and they were moving out. They set up some roadblocks at the town of Cougar, and this is an indication of a major, what they consider a major eruption.
Sunday, May 18th, 8:32 a.m. Mount St. Helens explodes, sending the top 1,300 feet into the atmosphere.
People lined up at the gas pumps, there's sheriff's department there, the fire department, there's a lot of women standing around crying. I think there's some confusion. The information is really lousy. I think if there were really a problem, I don't think the information has been very good at all on what to do.
A little less than an hour ago, we had an eruption that seemed to be at the same time of an earthquake, and right now we don't exactly what all has happened. We don't have a plane in the air, and the only reports we're getting are from the ground, and we have not been in touch with any of the geologists. We can't get through on the radio at the present time on the north side of the mountain, so we really don't know what's happened at this point.
Yakima, Washington, 11 a.m.
Telephone communications are down here at the Sheriff's Department. We can't call out. We can receive calls in. Don't know exactly what the problem is. Just a moment, we got an emergency.
When the mountain exploded, we had the big lightning storm. It got extremely dark. Then it was like a fog. That's cleared away. It's sunny here now, except for a light haze, and it was quite some time. And I was outside, heard the rumble of the river. Went down to see that, and the river had just gone wild.
Department of Emergency says, Longview, Washington, 1 p.m.
We have Cayuse Pass is closed, White Pass is closed, all with 4 to 6 inches of ash in the area. We've got, there was fire reported at the rim of the crater, but no lava confirmation. There's a 12-foot wall of water that is in the North Toutle River. The local government has ordered evacuation of the town of Toutle.
Tom Stetcher is in an air vicinity of Mount St. Helens, having left the Dalles moments ago. Tom Stetcher, our reporter in the area, will be telling you what is happening as he flies the vicinity of Mount St. Helens during the afternoon hours today. His flight held up due to that cloud.
A man who saw it explode said the north side of the mountains and then seemed to open up. Said a woman who saw it, the explosion was phenomenal.
Ever since it started, but we felt the ground shake here. We felt the ground shake on and off, And we've seen eruptions, but even to see the eruptions, we've had to go down just a mile to see the mountain itself. Well, today we don't have to go anywhere.
Camp Baker on the north side was wiped out completely, which is near Spirit Lake. All the people got out late. And at 11:46 local time, just a short while ago, they had live cameras on the mountain, and it was still blowing out very, very rapidly.
The pilot of that airplane who crashed and lost his life is Vernon Mitchell, an Ellensburg crop duster, and it is believed that Vernon Mitchell was not able to find the ground and crashed in the vicinity of volcanic ash all over the area. And we do not have that confirmed. However, it is believed that was the reason for it. County Sheriff Bob Barrett in the area says the entire Yakima and Ellensburg is now blackened by the volcanic fallout.
I-5, Interstate 5, north and south, has been closed between Barnes Road and Headquarters Road, which is the two intersects to it that encompasses where the Toutle River Bridge is, that the Toutle River flows under I-5 until such time as this wall of water and anything is past, so all traffic there has been stopped, the interstate.
Ash trajectory would be to the northeastward, and the following towns in eastern Washington: Yakima, Helensburg, Wenatchee, Freda, Colmac, Spokane, and other urban areas in general area would probably see ash later today, and already evident in the Columbia Basin. Yakima shows steady thunderstorm and ash fallout depth 0.2 of an inch already. Visibility's been running about a half a mile.
The Moses Lake area is now receiving a eclipse-like darkness that is taking place, not of magnitude that took place earlier this morning in Yakima, but it is there, and there are reports of gritty traces of volcanic ash on the ground in the vicinity of Moses Lake. Just traces. We may receive traces as well. If you look outside, you are noticing that a haze is kind of moving into the Spokane area, and is apparently associated with the explosion this morning atop Mount St. Helens.
Immediately after taking off from the Spokane International Airport, our flight engineer, George Farrar, reported that the dark clouds we were flying through was ash of Mount St. Helens. Now, he told us that means that at 100 miles east of the mountain to reach Spokane. At that time, looking out of the window of the airplane, all you could see was a dark blue-black, it was an eerie kind of a fog in the air at that time. Don't ask me how he did it, but our captain, flying at an altitude of 32,000 feet, got as close to Mount St. Helens, we could see the mountain, and at 10 minutes before 1 o'clock, as we flew to the left of Mount Rainier, we could see the edge of the disturbance. Then somehow, Mike, I don't even know how he did it. We got even closer, and we saw the base of the eruption itself, the plume of ash out of the mountain. Now, this plume rises, he told us, 65,000 feet into the air, or about 11.5 miles high. That's 2 miles higher than our airplane could fly. It was a breathtaking experience. It was incredible. My thanks to the captain of the airplane and for our flight engineer for giving this reporter and the other 114 people on that flight a lifetime chance to view Mother Nature and her real energy and power.
We know that a number of people would be traveling, attempting to get to the viewpoints to view it, and there's extremely heavy traffic on the roadways, which is going to really hurt or cause more severe problems since I-5 itself was closed at that one point I described to you.
You wouldn't believe it. It's just like nighttime outside. I-90 is closed between Ellensburg and George. It's a real mess outside. They're warning people not to drive at all if it's possible that they not.
What do you mean by mess? What's the mess?
Yeah, it's like a total eclipse. It's like 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, I see. It's just dark all of a sudden.
It's real dark. There's a lot of wind. Well, there's not much wind, but there's a lot of ash falling and some rain. One of the deputies just phoned in and said that he's making quite a rooster tail on the road.
I just talked to a correspondent in Yakima who tells me that you can't see even across the street in the Yakima area. Apparently, most of the cloud has passed just to the northwest of Tri-Cities, and the Yakima area up to Othello, and I understand it's headed towards Spokane now.
Hearing all this morning, and I just outside in my front yard, and I have a pickup truck parked out front, and it's been parked all morning. And I hearing about the dust and everything, so I went out there and looked on top of the truck, and I've got just a fine layer of that off-color yellow-grayish dust. I guess that's what it's called. But the plume is still the same way it was as of, I guess, 8:30 this morning when we had that mighty explosion. The ash continues to grow heavier and heavier in the north
County area, College County area, south of the, or north of the mountains, and south of the mountains. Again, luckily for the Vancouver area and also the Portland area, we have winds that are shoving the plume off to the north and to the east right now, but that's not good news for the people in eastern Washington, as they are getting a tremendous amount of soot and ash. If you've seen the films of Vesuvius that they were taken in 1948, this looks very, very similar to it.
Well, so far we've got volcanic ash fallout here in the immediate area. Its skies are very overcast and very dark. The Weather Service earlier today forecast sunny skies and hot weather with highs today in the 80s. Right now the temperature has dropped to 65 and it's nowhere even close to sunny skies. In fact, it's gotten so dark here they started turning on street lights as they have in Tri-Cities and Yakima area.
Part of it's thunder, but part of it we heard a little bit earlier was quite loud. And they told us over the radio that it was supposed to have been the mountain erupting. A little while ago it was in a total darkness, and it's just in a semi-darkness now, but it's still pretty dark out there. The streets are all covered with a fine white powdery snow-like material, except that it's kind of a pumicey feel to it. And the air is really stagnant, and it's difficult to breathe when you go out there. They've asked us to put any type of a mask over our face or a washcloth that's damp, but they've asked us not to go out at all. Apparently the ash is clogging up cars, and also it's very difficult to see. The visibility is very poor.
Okay, the traffic westbound has practically been canceled due to the volcanic ash of Mount St. Helens.
And that means that very few aircraft are leaving Spokane?
Yes, we put out a notum to the aircraft. It's their choice, but most of them have chosen not to fly westbound at all.
We just had confirmed to us that so far we are aware of at least 5 fatalities in the upper area there. And that there are some cars that involved that some of them are overturned. You know, we had a pyroclastic flow that hit one part of that area there, and that's that gaseous pressure that pushes hot debris, but not of a molten lava kind, that did hit the area, one part of the area there, and evidently there were some cars that were in an area that did receive or were involved in this. But
and so there were 5 fatalities. Now this is up on the mountain itself, though.
Well, it's we don't know. Yeah, the what? The Camp Baker area.
With 2 huge quakes this morning, the whole north face of Washington's Mount St. Helens fell flat. A flash flood warning is in the effect for a corner of the state. The Toutle River Valley, 35 miles away, is being evacuated. Ash clouds are being seen 150 miles away in Vancouver.
Radio signals are being staticked as a result of interferences from this volcanic ash, and in some areas violent lightning storms, the dry lightning type, have been reported. We will contact the Weather Service again and see whether or not that sort of thing is happening. We had no reports of forecast of lightning in our area today. No thunderstorms anticipated, however, and we have not as yet seen any, though the darkness is indeed incredible, and people are calling us who don't know what this is and are asking us, is there a report of a major front coming through and that sort of a thing. The major front that you see over Spokane right now is compliments of Mount St. Helens.
problem with dust. It gets on insulators, and then if you have any moisture at all, it can cause an arcing and a resulting power outage. But so far in Spokane, our power system is operating normally, and if we do have a lot of dust, of course, we could have some problems if we had rain also.
Of course, it's obvious that visibility is lowering, and there may be a point at which the visibility would be too low for flights to get in and out, but and it also may be that the airlines would not want to fly their aircraft through this ash cloud.
Our phone lines are being jammed right now by people frantic, and there's really very little that we at the Poison Center can give people. We're asking that they not call the Poison Center, that if we do find any specific information that will be of help, we will get it onto the news.
Mike, I've been around eastern Washington somewhat this afternoon. It's a peculiar situation, almost akin to the eclipse we had about a year ago. Very similar. People standing in small groups in parking lots. I joined several of those small groups this afternoon, looking up at the heavens in awe at this natural display. One man I talked to had been camping in the Cougar area up until a few days ago and had decided that this thing was just a fizzle and he was coming down. People just gazing up in almost unbelief, wondering what to do about their automobiles, what to do about their possessions, about the accumulations on their roofs, if there would be any.
Washed out. The ones that haven't been washed out are in a critical condition. Everyone in Toutle, the community of Toutle, about 500 people, have been advised to leave, and as far as the state police know, there have been no people stranded in that area by the bridges washing out. There are large logs washing down the river, and there's a great deal of mud, and apparently that mud and flooding occupy most of that area in and around the Toutle River.
Oh, we just came out from the shopping up in Manitoba Center, and in a matter of 20 minutes, half an hour, it gone from a dusky look to just pure black. And as we were driving home, you were actually able to see the falling inside on your headlights after it was snowing or something. The cars are going down the street. You can see it kind of coming up off the street now. It's starting to get enough of it on the street, coming down so quickly that it's kind of dusty on the road. And as we got out of the car going into the house, you could just feel it in the air. You know, I don't know if I was reacting, like I almost feel it on my skin.
I am standing on a bridge on top of the Sunset Hill overlooking I-90. The ash is blowing like crazy. The cars are stirring more of it up. I am having a hard time seeing because it's falling into my eyes.
Yes, Mike, I'm standing outside of my house now on the back porch, and I'm looking right by the porch light and also the street light, and there's just one incredible haze coming out of the sky right now. It's a very, very fine dust. We do have a dog here at the house. He's been acting a little strangely, but not really too badly, but right now he's sitting right beside me, and he is covered with fine dust, and every once in a while he shakes himself off. I think the dog is just wondering, am I going to have a full night's sleep here, or what's going to happen in a little bit. Anyway, our whole porch, our entire porch in the back here, lawn chairs and all, barbecue, completely covered with a very fine dust, volcanic dust. It's really incredible. It's almost impossible to believe that 1 hour ago I was playing softball, and now it's pitch dark. We do have several forest fires, actually over 100, both on private forest land and Gifford Pinchot National Forest land, that were started by lightning and hot embers. The lightning was caused by the plume of ash that's been towering above the volcano this afternoon, as the plume creates its own weather system within it.
It was black, the birds were asleep, the lights came on, the cat came in the house, but now the birds are awake. I see robins hopping around on the neighbor's lawn, and there's a breeze.
And things have, has the fallout actually diminished any in your area?
Well, it seems to. It's just that visibility is farther. I can see about a half a block down the street into Hamlin Park, and it's just lighter. It's daytime now instead of night like it was 45 minutes ago.
We're still advising people to stay in. We do not advise anyone to travel except in emergency conditions. The visibility, although is lightened up some now, we anticipate that it will darken again very shortly, and we'll probably have waves and that type of thing for several hours to come with the information that we have. The second eruption that occurred approximately an hour ago is going to bring some more fall, I understand, to this area because the prevailing winds continue to be towards the east.
I don't know what the mineral content of this stuff is, but it's got to be good for the soil. You know, if you put a little water on it and you didn't thoroughly wash it off, then you might have a little burning, but I even doubt that. I don't know, you know. Most have to analyze the content of it and to see whether it's hot or not, but I don't really see any damage. I know when it quits, I'm going out and wash mine off.
Thursday, May 22nd, 1980, Spokane, Washington, 1:30 p.m.
The plane is getting very, very low, and not much on distances, a couple of 100 feet, and but we'll be on the ground. I see Air Force One coming down now, just out of the east. It's just about ready to touch down, as a matter of fact, and here it comes. President Carter arriving at Spokane International Airport. And, of course, it'll take him a little while to deplane, but the President is in Spokane. Yes, I do have it in sight now. The cone of the plane is just coming around the corner of the terminal here. And I can read it, United States of America. Yep, that is the guy just about with us now. It is a beautiful plane. I have never seen Air Force One in person, of course. It is two blues. And the United States of America is on a white background. It is a lovely plane, and it's also a very noisy plane, as you can hear in the background, I'm sure. It is about 200 feet away from me now and taxiing very slowly. The Secret Service agents are, of course, watching the crowd, very nervous. Everything appears to be okay. And the President has just stepped out. Now, Mr. Carter is on his way down the ladder now, followed by Ron Baer. Mr. Carter is at the foot of the stairs. He's waving to the crowd in the terminal. There are also people standing around the fence. We see Governor Ray now. Representative Foley stepping outside now. Warren Magnuson walking very slowly out now. He is being followed by, I believe, Terry Novak, I believe that is. He is smiling, and always smiling, of course, and shaking hands with the militaries. He's shaking hands with Mr. Treisman now, and standing there very erect, wearing a brand new suit, hair well combed. The Mayor Bear perhaps looks a little bit more tired than the President at this point. He is dressed rather informally. I'm sure that reflects the fact that his trip to Portland was a very spur of the moment. You might be interested to know that when Air Force One landed, it did kick up an amount of dust, and when they taxied in, the dust is again picking up at the Spokane International Airport. Apparently, the taxiway where the President came in is not quite clear of the dust yet as things dry out.
It's been one of the most powerful and destructive national and natural phenomena in history. There's nothing in recorded history to equal what in the continental United States, equivalent, some have estimated, to 10 million tons of TNT, or a 10 megaton bomb exploding of atomic power. I've flown into the area to see the devastation there, and it's truly unbelievable. Of course, east of the explosion was where most of the dust has settled, and this is a very troubling problem for us. In the area of Richfield and about a 40-mile radius around there was the heaviest concentration of this fallout material. It's 3 to 5 inches deep. Transportation is still obstructed in that area. And of course, here in Spokane, there was about a half inch of the material deposited on the ground. The rain has alleviated an immediate problem of the fine dust in the air, but I hope that everyone, as the material dries out, will continue to wear a face mask of some kind to minimize the material that will go into one's lungs. This material is not toxic. Over a period of time, it can be incorporated readily into the soil. There will undoubtedly be some damage to agriculture. Now those who produce milk are finding it impossible to market in some regions, of course, and the milk is having to be dumped. But we don't know any troubling aspect of the long-range effect of the ash concentration in the degree that it is in most parts of eastern Washington. We will continue to work very closely with Governor Ray, with Governor Evans and others who are responsible for the state effort, and of course with local government officials on a continuing basis. One of the important aspects of any catastrophe like this is a concerted effort of individual citizens. There has been a remarkable absence of a panic and a tremendous exhibition of patriotism, cooperation, and community effort to clean up in this region. And I want to congratulate the people here for that attitude and hope it will continue. The first responsibility, obviously, will be on individual citizens. The cities are doing the best job they can under very difficult circumstances. Many tourists and others in some very small communities have exacerbated the problem. We have begun now to see transportation open up. We have, in addition to that, a need for considering how to finance the cleanup efforts that will be necessary. And, of course, we will go to the Congress for additional funds. Governor Ray, Governor Evans will have to provide additional state funds, and the local governments, of course, will have that responsibility as well.
Fifth District Congressman Thomas Foley traveled with President Carter to Spokane to survey the damage in his home district.
An incident that we had some potential warning about, but nobody really could assess the danger as it occurred as being very likely. Frankly, what happened is for some weeks before the volcano actually erupted or blew up, actually beginning in March, scientists were on a watch committee, were observing the mountain closely, taking all kinds of readings. Minor eruptions are expected on this mountain about once every 100 to 500 years. Moderate or more severe ones every 500 to 1,000 years. And really severe disruptions of cataclysmic type explosions, maybe once every 2,000 to 3,000 years. This is the kind that we experienced. In other words, one that might be experienced every 2,000 or 3,000 years. It's not likely to happen again if the past experience exists until perhaps sometime in the 2200s. It was a chance of 1 in 10,000 that this would occur.
No one should ever have any kind of feeling of panic that we're ever going to
run out of face masks. We're going to start stockpiling now, and so we only need to have one per person, and they're good until they fall apart. The dirtier they get, the more effective they are. So don't worry about that. Don't wash them off. Just let them get dirty, and eventually the mask will fall apart and be unusable. Throw it away and go down to the fire station and get a new one. And we're going to have them available throughout this entire emergency, however long it may last, and we don't know how long it's going to last. It may last a month, it may last 2 months, it may last just one more week. We don't know. So, but there's no reason for anybody to get more masks than they can use, because think of your neighbors. They also need one, too. We gave away about 190,000 today, and so we have the feeling that perhaps a few people did pick up a few extras that they didn't actually need, and but I think this problem probably is going to solve itself. So that's the situation as it sits now in the mask.
Observers in a U.S. Forest Service plane reported the largest outburst of ash and steam since the volcano blew its top a week ago. Meanwhile, seismographs at the University of Washington in Seattle were registering nearly continuous earthquakes and possibly harmonic tremors, the kind often associated with underground movement of magma or molten rock. Scientists from the U.S. Geological Survey have been unavailable for comment. A Forest Service official says most of them are exhausted and are trying to get some rest.
Sunday morning, May 25th, Mount St. Helens staged a minor eruption, sending ash to the west and south, but nothing to compare to the cataclysmic eruption of May the 18th. The preceding historical collage was made possible through the tireless dedication of the staff and correspondents of KSPO News Radio Spokane.